The Lord's Prayer is it talked about much online. I want it played before every episode, and I'm not forcing any religion on anyone. Thank you, God. And now here's my mom and saying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
This is Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon. Join Waylon as he interviews people around the world with a variety of topics surrounding everyday struggles and bringing trustworthy communication to his guest. It's time we have more positivity and kindness in the world. He has had family, friends, actors, fitness experts, and the legendary ring announcer of WWE, Lillian Garcia. He can't wait to bring more inspiring episodes your way. Welcome to Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon.
Welcome to yet another episode of Standing Strong, as I am so excited to be bringing you another inspiring guest. Before we get started with the episode, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support. Don't let anyone define you, because you only define yourself. Don't let anyone hold you back from chasing your dream, because it all comes from you. You have to be mind strong and follow your heart no matter what. Be yourself and never give up. Your life is truly important and you're not alone. And now here's Steve with the introduction of the next guest.
Sean Wachter, a true hero, is a professional wrestler for NYWC, New York Wrestling Connection. He overcame stage 4 melanoma with Leptomeningeal Disease, for which he is the only documented cured case in the world. He's a very inspiring man and continues striving to help kick cancer's ass and letting people know they're not alone. He raises money in wrestling to help others fighting cancer. Sean is also a former college football player. He played lacrosse in college and played pro football in the Arena Football League. He is the Rocky Balboa of professional wrestling. It's Waylon's pleasure to welcome Sean Wachter as his 60th guest on Standing Strong.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 60th episode of Standing Strong. Thank you so much, Steve, for that incredible introduction of our next guest. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sean. What's up, Sean?
How we doing, Waylon? How's everything going today?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. It's been yucky outside. It's been cold, but that's what winter is all about.
There you go.
So at this time, would you let people know where they can find you on social media?
Sure. You could find me at The Cancer Fighter, Sean Wachter, on Instagram, and I have all the other TikToks and X's or Twitters or whatever, but I'm still learning how to use those things. So if you just click on my link tree, you could follow along through there.
Awesome. You got a love link tree, huh?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff to try to keep organized. So it kind
of absolutely
quite nice and neatly.
Yep, absolutely. So how has your new year been?
It's been pretty good. Family is all happy and healthy, and wrestling is taken off for me, and my regular day job. I do have a regular day job. I'm a business development manager for a global marketing company that deals with nonprofit organizations. So really busy with that as well. And also too, I'm finishing my MBA at the same time. So it's
awesome.
a lot of stuff on the plate, but hey, guess what? Being busy is better than being bored.
Absolutely, you got that right, 100%. Now, when did you know you wanted to become a professional wrestler?
Oh goodness, I blame my father for this one. Which now he's scared to death of what I'm doing. But he sat me down in front of SummerSlam in 1988. You know, getting to see the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan team together, and you know, ever since then, it's been something that I've been wildly in love with, almost to the point that I joke with my wife that wrestling is the second woman.
Yeah, right. Awesome. That's incredible. Now, any advice you would give someone out there who wants to become a professional wrestler?
The advice that I would give is, you know, try to, before you even think about going to a wrestling school, you need to ask yourself, is this something that you truly want to do? Because the level of time and commitment that's needed to excel in wrestling is great, because it's not only the training in ring that is of the utmost importance, but also too, it's the training outside of the ring and taking care of yourself. You know, you are an athlete, and when you do finish your training and you get out there in front of a crowd, you know, those people are paying their hard-earned money to see you, so you are a professional athlete. As far as looking into different training modalities, I highly advise against going onto the internet. I know a few folks have started some internet schools, but that's not really going to do anything much but take your money. We're in the wonderful age of the internet now. When I wanted to find out about a wrestling school back in the late 90s, early 2000s, yes, I am old. There was no Google. You know, I found out about the wrestling school that I started out at, which eventually would become NYWC. I found out through a guy at my gym when I was 18 years old. So, you know, it was kind of very hush hush then. Now there's a lot more schools, but I encourage everyone to do your research, do your Googling, go on Instagram, you know, follow a few of your local favorite independent wrestlers. And I'm pretty sure, you know, they'll give constant shout outs to their home promotions or home schools. So that's the advice that I'd have to give.
Awesome. There you go. If anyone who wants to become a professional wrestler, I hope that inspires you to follow your dream. Now, Sean, congratulations on beating cancer's ass.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm sure it was a scary and stressful time dealing with it. What were the struggles to it, and how did you overcome the news once the doctors told you that you weren't making?
Well, you know, I am in a very interesting situation when it comes to life itself and then cancer. See, not only did I survive cancer, thankfully, but I also survived being paralyzed for a few years as a result of a freak accident, not in wrestling. And that's actually what stopped me from really going further the first time with wrestling, was the fact that I had this neck injury. And, you know, that was very scary. And I didn't think anything would get scarier than that. So when I found out that I had cancer, it wasn't the doctors that told me. I was in a hospital situation, and I always make sure I clarify this. It was not one of the wonderful hospitals that I am affiliated with or deal with. It was a local hospital, not a cancer hospital. They had a covering physician who also was with a covering surgeon, and they worked in tandem to do the craniotomy to remove the tumor I had from a stroke. So I emergently had surgery for my cancer. I didn't have a chance to really dwell over it in my head. I knew something was wrong leading up to it months in advance, but unfortunately, some of the doctors I went and saw just kind of brushed it off and said, it's just some stuff from your neck, which it turned out not to be. But being it was covering physicians, covering surgeons, they didn't really follow the hospital protocol, and they did it in a good way because they knew the particular hospital I was at was going to want to wait for everything to come back. They were going to want to have their people talk to me and tell me. And the surgeon, while my surgery was going on, came out into the waiting room, told the supervisor of the hospital to shut up, for lack of better terms, and a little bit more colorful language when he was talking to my parents, because he told them not only was it cancer, but the tumor also was melanoma, and that he had been doing this for 35 years, and he knew a melanoma tumor when he saw it. So I was told nothing by the folks at the hospital. My father actually was the first person to tell me, and I am very fortunate to come from an upbringing of my mom being hard as nails. Just she's a tough cookie from East Flatbush, New York. But I also have my father, who was a Vietnam vet and a retired narcotics detective. So I had an upbringing that was pretty much filled with discipline and kind of snapping to it. So when he told me in that hospital bed that I had cancer, we had already been down the difficult road before, where we thought I wasn't going to walk again and I needed emergency neck fusion surgery. So I knew right then and there what he needed from me and what I needed from him, because my father is my best friend and he was my support system along with my mother at the beginning of this journey. And I just said, yes, sir. Okay. And we just went to war, so to speak in a cliche.
Right.
So
Awesome.
that's how I handled it.
That's good. Inspirational. Thank you for sharing that story with us. Now, what words of encouragement do you give other people out there who is also fighting cancer?
I encourage those people to keep on living, and recently, I think, to kind of try to sum it up, keep on living. Well, what do you mean keep on living? So to get more to the point, keep on making plans. Don't be afraid to make plans. Don't be afraid to cancel plans. Don't be afraid to not make plans at all. It's your life that you're living. Okay. And by continuing to live, continuing to try to do the things that not only bring you joy, but also normalcy to your life while you're dealing with this battle, it is so important, because you know what? You never know what's going to happen. You may be fortunate enough to get a chance like I got. And when that happens and they tell you it's time to ring that bell, well, then what's next? So you need to be prepared for that. So to be prepared for that, plan for after cancer. And while you're dealing with this, like I said, continue trying to do the things that bring you joy. And, while cancer is burdensome enough to the person who has it, try to always remember the folks around you. You know what? They're dealing with it too. So you're all in it together. Just like they're lifting you up, sometimes you got to lift them up as well.
Absolutely, 100%. And like you said, your parents was at your side the entire time, being your supporters. There's times in this world that children fight their parent and say they hate them and call them nasty stuff. But people has to remember that your parents are your number one supporter, no matter how you feel about them. You should always treat your parents with respect.
I wish I could say that I always did, but I, in a period of my life, kind of lost my vision on that. And let me tell you, when they were there, and it was not a question about where I was going to live and how we were going to deal with this, I was very fortunate that they were there, and that's a quick reminder of that. And you know what? Those are some excellent things to tell your listeners right there, because even I forget about that sometimes. So thanks for giving me a little refresher on that.
No problem. It was my honor. Now, would you ever love to work for WWE or AEW one day?
They know who I am. I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Can't say much more. Say much more.
Absolutely. Now, who inspired you to be your very best in the ring?
Well, it's a twofold question, because Professionally, my inspiration in the ring comes from a friend of mine, Joey Conway. He's our NYWC heavyweight champion, and he's also heavyweight champion for multiple independent organizations in the Northeast. And I'm sure it's just a very short matter of time before he's on television. But why he inspires me is the fact that he's somebody of stature in our locker room and in the wrestling community. And he has gone above and beyond, along with some folks like Sal Savelli at New York Wrestling Connection, to really take the time to work with me, to help me with my training, because to go out of your way like that, they don't need to do that. They don't need to be there longer than they already are. You know, I'm a little bit on the remedial level still. So their help, especially Joey's, is greatly appreciated. Now, as far as who personally inspires me, the cancer community inspires me. I understand that I carry a great responsibility. I frequently will tell people that my only goal is to go out there and inspire somebody to live a little bit fuller and maybe fight a little bit harder. And you know what? If I've done that, then my whole pain and suffering was worth it. So when I'm out there, my cancer brother and sisters are with me.
Amazing. That's beautiful. All right, everyone. At this time, we will be right back with Standing Strong.
We will be right back with Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon after this break.
Thank you so much for making it this far into the episode and for all the love and support. I'm able to have trustworthy communication with my guests and give them the opportunity to ask me questions.
Check out some incredible podcasts that Waylon suggests, and the links will be in the description box. Culture Shocked, a podcast based on gaming, movies, and TV shows. It's a one-of-a-kind podcast. Tyler's Takedowns, a wrestling podcast on the SJP World Media Network that discusses classic and modern-day professional wrestling. God TV, an amazing podcast run by SoCal Val, Lisa Marie Varon, and Mickey James. WrestleManiacs with Waylon and Tyler, a weekly wrestling show regarding breaking down WWE news. Now, Waylon would like for you to check out some other amazing people, and their links will be in the description. Catherine Norland. She's an inspirational person who does Sunday Lives on her YouTube channel and talks greatly about God, our Father. Rainy Vacation, a small music group from northwestern Pennsylvania created by Sean and Nathan. Ox Films, a production company run by actor Richard Ryan. He's an amazing guy, and some of his hit movies were Art of Deception, Fortune 500 Man, and Natural Demise. Richard has been working hard and will be bringing out more, including new music of his own. Visit www.oxfilms.us and follow him on Instagram at RichardRyan7. Once again, Ox Films, check it out and watch the films on his website. Ace Hire, and a musician and content creator named Austin Sire. Austin does amazing content and music. He's a very talented person, and Waylon loves his work. Follow the show on social media. On Facebook, Waylon Myers Podcast. On Instagram, Waylon Myers Podcast. On TikTok, Waylon Myers Podcast. And on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Waylon Myers. Thank you, Tyler, for being back on Standing Strong in a different way. And now back to the episode. All right, everyone. And we are back
with the 60th episode of Standing Strong. I hope you're enjoying Sean's inspiring interview on this episode. Sean, at this time, how are you liking being on my talk show?
It's wonderful. It's different than some of the other ones I've done, and I think, like I said before, the whole thing you brought up about your folks, it's something that makes you think. I actually, in all candidness with you, maybe a little disagreement with my father before about some stuff we got going on, and we smoothed it over very quickly like grown men should. But that makes me think and say, what, maybe I could have handled that a little bit better. So thanks for that.
No problem. It's my honor. Now, besides being a professional wrestler, what was your dream job?
Oh, goodness. I wanted to be a lawyer for an odd reason when I was a little kid. And I actually went to law school for 6 weeks, many, many years ago. And right away, one of the professors I had pegged me and said, hey, I don't think this is for you. And it wasn't to ostracize me or discourage me. He saw that I was there to prove a point, to prove that I was smart enough. I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it to prove people wrong. So he saved me a lot of time and a lot of money. And now that I've dealt with plenty of lawyers in the world of entertainment and business, quite happy I didn't become one.
Absolutely.
No offense to anyone who's out there who's a litigator, but just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Now, what keeps you grounded in life to continue being real to yourself?
My daughters. I have a wonderful stepdaughter, and I have actually a newborn daughter of my own. And being a father, regardless whether it be step or biological, just kind of really makes you look at the world in a different lens. And it's pretty funny. I have had quite an education and personality change and maturing through various traumatic and also amazing and pleasurable life events. So yeah, my girls keep me going.
Amazing. That's good. Now, the next question. Speaking of wrestling, who's your favorite WWE superstar, male and female?
Oh, male, I'd have to say Triple H. He would be my favorite, especially as I admired his work when I was younger and his physique. And now I admire the fact that he is such an accomplished businessman and promoter as well. Right now he's dealing with TKO Group. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and he's not missing a step there. As far as favorite female WWE superstar, I would have to go with Charlotte Flair based on her pure athleticism. But then again, you were talking about athleticism. Royal Rumble the other night, you had Jade Cargill premiere, debut during the Royal Rumble. So Charlotte's on the shelf. So I guess we're going to have to go with Jade for the moment, because I admire the athleticism, and also I know Jade is an exceptionally hard worker when it comes to training. So I tip my hat to her.
Yep. Now, out of the past superstars, Triple H was good, and I like Triple H. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Rikishi, Kane, The Undertaker. That's who I grew up with. And then I love Lita, Trish, Victoria, all these incredible females. But Charlotte is such an awesome superstar today. I wish her nothing but the best with her recovery from her injury.
Yeah,
when she returns to WWE, she's going to be better than she was before.
I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, there's Jade now, so I'm looking forward to that match.
Did you watch the Royal Rumble? How she manhandled Nia Jax was incredible.
That is an incredible feat of strength. Let me tell you, it's strength. It's the athleticism, the coordination required to do those things. It's just there's a reason why these people are at the top of where they are. And
Absolutely. 100%. I would even like to see her face Bianca Biel.
yeah,
That was a good moment.
that's what it is. Wrestling is, and that's what I've come to learn. It's moments. It's
Yep.
moments, and it's letting the crowd soak in those moments, and letting them soak it in is obviously going to garnish a much bigger reaction. And as a performer and wrestler, that's what we want. We want the reaction. I liken it almost to being a conductor in an orchestra. You want to be able to wave your baton and get them to play the right notes and sing the right songs. It's very gratifying as a performer when you're able to lock them in like that.
Right, absolutely. Now, during your time growing up being a WWE fan, out of all the superstars who are now in the WWE Hall of Fame, who would you like to see out of your era that is not yet in the WWE Hall of Fame?
That's tough because there's so many deserving folks, and there's so many folks and performers that have passed and are no longer with us and need their rightful place in that hall as well. Right now, I guess I'm just waiting for Batista to go in.
Absolutely.
And I know he was supposed to go in, but then unfortunately COVID hit, scheduling conflicts. But, talk around an all-around performer. He's made the transition to Hollywood quite well. And it shows that, wrestling has come a long way in entertainment. Wrestlers are more than just wrestlers. We're more than just athletes. We are performers. We are entertainers, and I think back in the late 80s, early 90s, wrestling was kind of thought of as like a joke. And, we were never taken seriously. And now, as you can see with the people like The Rock, who's really just kicked the door open, John Cena, Batista, think of how many other countless people have been in other movies. I'm probably forgetting a ton of them off the top of my head.
Absolutely, yeah. They are all incredible athletes, all the respect and support to them. Now, what inspirational quote sticks to you to never give up in life?
When it comes to quotes and life and even, with cancer, my big quote has always been that of the late, great ESPN sportscaster, Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott himself had cancer and passed away, right shortly after 2014, I believe. But 2014, he accepted the ESPY Award for Jim Valvano Courage. And he came ahead and he said, "You beat cancer by how you live, the manner in which you live, and why you live. So live." And those are the words of inspiration that I can give.
Now, what was your experience like playing football in college?
It was a dream of mine because I didn't think being a wrestler was attainable. I focused on football. I had scholarships on the table. And unfortunately, I didn't go ahead and live up to the academic end of things. So I had to go through the junior college process first before I went on the NCAA. And playing college football at that level, it was more of a job at that point. And, I'm sure things are a little bit different now, but back then there was more of a focus on the athletics and not the academics. So I enjoyed, the camaraderie. I still have a whole ton of my former college teammates I speak to see the jersey behind my head. But, at the end of the day, if I could do it all over again, I would have just committed myself to wrestling right out the gate.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on playing college and football. Very impressive. All right, everyone. When we come back from this short video, it is now Sean's turn to put me in the hot seat.
And now let's get fired up, as it's time for Waylon's guest to ask him the questions.
All right, Waylon. So, tables have turned now. My turn. All right, so you're a wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to try to guess your age there, but who was your favorite superstar growing up?
My all-time favorite superstar, has got to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's most.
He's just a badass.
Hey, that's most certainly a good one to pick. You know, he's a favorite of mine. But if I go ahead and say that, people are going to go, "Wait, you got a bald head and you're wear black," and too many comparisons. What would you say is your favorite wrestling memory?
I
know there's so many, so you can give me the top 3 if you want.
Okay. I love the Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, and I believe WrestleMania 17.
Yes, that was a good one.
Okay.
That was one of the ones they wrestled at, because they wrestled at 14, 17, and 19.
Yep. I love Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam. I don't remember the year.
That was 2002 at the Nassau Coliseum, right down the road from me.
And then my third moment was Lillian Garcia performing the national anthem 2 days after 9/11 on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that's a very, very powerful moment. Good choices right there. Those are good, solid choices.
And I'm gonna give you one more, even though you said three.
No, hey, babe, it's your show. You make the
I also love Trish versus Lita on the main event of Raw in 2004.
And you know what? That's an incredible moment, because look how far we've come from there. Women wrestlers now are treated exactly as they always should have been treated, equals.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, Waylon, what is your inspiring quote? Like, what do you normally tell your listeners? Like, fill me in.
Don't let anyone define you, because you only define yourself. Don't let anyone hold you back from chasing your dream, because it all comes from you. You have to be mind strong and follow your heart no matter what. Be yourself and never give up.
Damn. That's good. That's good. I like that. I may actually have to have you start having you write stuff for me, please. So,
Yeah.
if you could, like, what was your dream job growing up?
My dream job, and I never really went with it because I don't know, but my dream job was to become a WWE ring announcer.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Because I will always grab the microphone. I'll grab like the remote, and I always pretend I was Lillian Garcia or Howard Finkel. And I'll try to memorize the superstar rates and hometowns and stuff. And it's hard. It's hard for sure.
Hey, but you know what? If you practice and you work hard and you don't give up, who's to know?
Right? Absolutely.
And you know what? You do this podcast, it's never too late.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe if you're ever in the Long Island area, come on down to New York Wrestling Connection. I'll see if I can pull some strings there and get a microphone in your hand.
Yeah, would be awesome. Even if it's for one day in my life, that would mean a lot. But yeah.
Hey, well, if you ever in this neck of the woods, you know who to send a message to, and I can make that happen for you.
Okay.
So,
any more questions you would like to ask?
I can't. I'm just so amazed by these great answers you gave me. You floored me. You trained me right there.
Yeah. Now, okay. What was your all-time favorite WWE match?
I will say it for the wrong reasons. And I will say it for the wrong reasons because it's not so much the match itself. It's what I was doing and who I was watching it with while the match was going on. It was Shawn Michaels versus the late, great Scott Hall, Razor Ramon in their ladder match at WrestleMania 10. I was very fortunate that my father was able to get us tickets to that, and I went with my dad, and just that's what I remember, just looking up at him while we were watching that, and he was sitting there with the big old camera with a big wide lens on it, trying to take some good pictures. And I think somewhere in their attic's floating around a picture of Shawn Michaels with his pants pulled down by razors. He's reaching for the belt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be my favorite moment. If I had to pick an in-ring one just off the top of my head for nostalgia, I would go back before I even, basically right before I sniffed involvement with wrestling in an actual wrestling capacity. I would have to say Triple H's return from tearing his quadricep at Madison Square Garden. Just to hear that reaction he got and to come out there and, beat the ever-living tar out of Kurt Angle, was a pretty awesome moment. And it just showed, with his physique and everything, how much hard work he put into that comeback. And, as somebody who's injured themselves and has also gotten deathly sick and had their body destroyed to have to go through the process of rebuilding it, you get appreciation for those things when you think back on them.
Right. Now, were you a fan of The Undertaker losing at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar?
I think that if someone was going to do it at that time, then at that time he was the person to do it. I think he got concussed in that match, so maybe it was a little bit difficult for him, much like the unfortunate incident that occurred when he wrestled Goldberg over in Saudi Arabia. Obviously that is a match that if that would have happened under better conditions years prior, that would have been something that, we'd be sitting about and talking about right now.
Absolutely.
And a positive.
Yeah, right. Now, what's your favorite memory of the late, great Bray Wyatt?
I love that guy so much just because of his creativity. And, when people say like, oh, what type of art do you like? Well, I like wrestling. Wrestling is art. It's the canvas is different, but we both use canvas. It's Bray Wyatt. When he came back, after that long layoff and with the last rendition of the theme song he had, that was pretty cool. That was, I believe that ended the show that I was on. That was probably one of my moments that I liked because you know what? That was, I think, when he finally was able to say, all right, I have enough confidence in this company to let me carry out my creative vision. And unfortunately, one of the brightest minds and most talented people we possibly ever had in the world of wrestling passed way before his time.
Absolutely. I agree. Is there any last questions you have for me?
Like I said, you tapped me out. You tapped me out, and right now my wheels are spinning on how we get you to New York and get that microphone in your hand.
Yeah. So now, I do have one more question for you.
Please go ahead.
What was your all-time favorite moment or match that she has ring announced? What was your favorite Lillian Garcia moment?
I think my favorite moment with her, other than because you already named her singing the national anthem, and being an unfortunate New York Jet fan, I have had the privilege of listening to her perform the national anthem several times at MetLife Stadium. I think she's also cursed with being a Jet fan. But my favorite moment with her was when she refused to announce Triple H as the champion, and he got heated and chased her all the way down to the ring, and she hopped the guardrail, and he just lost his nonsense. But it's always been interesting how they found different ways to get her involved other than just standing there with the stick, giving the introductions. And, it's just like the ring announcer and the referee and the timekeeper and the people giving us all the information from the back. Without those people, we're just men and women standing around in our underwear.
Right. Absolutely. I've been trying for the past 2 years, and you never know. WWE might see my video or they might not. But I am doing a campaign of getting Lillian Garcia inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, I think her time will come. I think it most certainly will come. And now it's my understanding that Triple H is in charge of the selection process for that going forward. So I'm sure she will get her just due deserved.
Yeah, it's amazing that this year is going to, once August come, it's going to be her 25th year since signing with WWE.
Wow.
So I was only 7 years old when I was Lillian on TV.
Wow. Well, that, to have a tenure that long, and I know she's come and gone a few times, but be able to do that, because a lot of people sometimes leave and they won't open the door for them, to come back, at least back then. Excuse me. So for her to be able to have that talent to say, you know what, I'm going to go do something else, and then to say, hey, guess what, guys, I'm available again, and for them to say, sure, no, we want you. I tip my cap to her.
Yeah, she did WWE for 10 years, retired for 2, came back for 5, and then she left in 2016 when her dad passed away to cancer. So, yeah, but from not every once in a while, she comes back from time to time for special occasions. So
she's one of the all-time greats, that's for sure.
She is. And every time Lita does the moonsault, it's amazing. She still has it today. Yep. And Trish, her last run with Becky Lynch, that was amazing. They killed the steel cage man at Payback.
No, they did. They did a heck of a job. And like I said, now they're getting the light shined on them that they most should have had shown on them long ago, for the right reasons, which is they're performing in the ring.
Now, are you a fan of Roman Reigns, or do you want him to lose the title?
I respect the heck out of him, as he is a cancer survivor as well. I think eventually they're going to have a climactic end to his reign, but right now I kind of enjoy where it's going. We're in a situation again where there are 2 champions, so it's not necessarily something that I think that they need to take off of him right away, but eventually he's going to need to rest, as we all do. So I'm sure there will come at a point in time, but I'll keep cheering him along, just because, like I said, he's part of our special community, cancer survivor himself. So.
Yep, absolutely. Now, would you like to see him face Cody Rhodes? Do you want Cody Rhodes to pick him? Because he did pointing at him at the Royal Rumble.
I guess we will find out as we started taping at 7 here tonight. I guess we will find out in about a half an hour if that's
absolutely
what's to be. Because tonight is the big follow up, and the first hour is commercial free. So it's going to be a good night, and I'm looking forward to getting my popcorn and sitting my butt on my couch and watching some good entertainment there.
Yep. And now everyone who will be watching this episode, this Monday will actually be posted next Monday. So this episode will be the following.
Who knows what will happen tonight?
Yep. Absolutely.
Next week, people will be listening to this, and this will already have run its course. Maybe The Rock will show up tonight. I don't know.
Yep. Absolutely. So there's just been incredible WWE moments throughout these years, and there's just so much to choose from, with great matches, who deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, and so much more. And some of these current WWE superstars who are kicking ass in the ring, I won't be surprised if they get an early on induction into the WWE Hall of Fame for everything they have done so far.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, because I'm sure as time goes on, people's in-rings careers are seeming to go on a little bit longer. So, hey, different training modalities, different methods of healthcare, hopefully we'll get to see some of these men and women be in the ring well into their early, if not late 50s, because I know there's still plenty of folks that can go that are of that age.
Are you excited for the Super Bowl coming up?
Yes and no. Like I said, I'm a Jet fan, so it's I'm looking forward to hopefully a good football game. That's about it. I don't have a dog in the race. Either side can win. I posted today a picture I found of myself getting chemo wearing a Taylor Swift shirt. So I said, what the heck? I'll throw those up here because I found it.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. I liked it. It was a nice show. Now, I always hope that if the New York Jets goes to the Super Bowl, I hope they pick Lillian Garcia to sing the national anthem.
Well, that would be wonderful. But there's a part of me as a Jet fan who, quite frankly, doesn't even want to see them get to the Super Bowl because I fear the disappointment.
Right.
I rather them continue their course of mediocrity than to go and get me that upset when they probably do something silly and like go for a touchdown instead of a field goal like the Lions did last night. So
Absolutely.
I think the Lions last night might have gotten their headsets mixed up. I think they might have been getting the feed coming from New York with those play calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one last time, where can people find you on social media?
They could find me at The Cancer Fighter, Sean Wachter at Instagram.
All right.
Like I said, from there, click my link tree and you could find my usernames for the other things too. But I'm just getting my feet wet with those. You know, I think I have one TikTok up, and my Twitter or X or whatever it's being colloquially known as now is pretty much just a live journal of my daily workouts. So that's where I hold myself accountable, and anyone following along wants to see what I'm doing. Well, that's what I'm doing on the day.
All right. Is there one last message you would like to say to the viewers?
Like I said, and I think you went ahead and pointed out, don't let things stop you from chasing your dreams. You know, it doesn't need to be wrestling. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It's just keep doing you. Like I said, keep making those plans. So keep on living.
Absolutely. There you go, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much, Sean, for being my 60th guest on Standing Strong. Until the 61st episode of Standing Strong, I will see you all next time.